most of you. My name is Helen Learn. I'm with LA Moss. We are a nonprofit community design organization that works across the city, but we happen to be located in this neighborhood, and we're leading the Futuro de Frogtown process. Maria is my colleague leading this with me. Mott is our consultant who you guys have seen, who has led some of our expert facilitations. And we also have two helpers with us, Anne and Armando. Futuro de Frogtown, for those who haven't been to a workshop, we have a quick flyer that's in green that talks about the overall goal of the project. There's a master calendar, but we're at the tail end. This is the 5th of 6 public workshops. The next one is next Tuesday, and it's the last one. Another green flyer has details on the meeting next Tuesday. And the overall goal of Futuro de Frogtown is to get people who live and work in this neighborhood to understand some of the issues happening here, how you can help shape change, and what your preferences are, and how you like to see the neighborhood evolve. With lots of investment and excitement along the LA River, there's lots of changes in terms of new projects. There are new residents, there's new businesses, and this is an effort to just get the temperature of the neighborhood, be informative, provoke discussion, and the end of this process, the end will be next Tuesday at our last workshop, and what we're going to do in January is kind of summarize what we've learned, what people have said, and be able to use some element of that to shape policy. Our next workshop, the last one on Tuesday, is about shaping the land use policy that governs this neighborhood. And all the workshops leading up to that bring up different issues from transportation tonight to land use and different uses and community space, all these elements that inform what makes this neighborhood so special. So with that, I hope everyone had a chance to quickly look over these boards, answer this question, and you have an agenda in front of you. How the meeting will be organized tonight is that Mott is going to lead us through about an hour-long discussion where all of us participate, and then we're going to also, the second half of the meeting will be focused on public comments and traditional neighborhood watch discussion items. So many thanks for David for co-hosting this with us, and with that, I'll turn it over to Mott.
Great. I'm just getting my timekeeper out so I can keep track of how things are going. How's everyone doing tonight?
Good.
Right. All right. Thank you for coming. And it's nice to see many of you again and some new faces, which is good. Just so you know who I am and what I do and why I'm here, I am primarily a real estate developer. I do a lot of work in communities like this. I also do a lot of planning work. And what I'm passionate about is great neighborhoods. I'm also passionate about honesty in the land use process. And I feel that there's not enough of it. There's not enough direct, honest conversation about how things really work. And I think that for a community like this to make informed choices about how it's going to change and how it's going to grow and how it's going to set policy, there needs to be that sort of honest conversation. I was brought on by LA Moss, I think specifically because I'm not really a facilitator. I view my role more as to present a set of views and to challenge the thinking a little bit. And so I might say things that are more provocative and perhaps more biased than a typical facilitator might. But I expect you guys to challenge back and speak your minds. And the purpose of this is to have a productive conversation. So if I say anything that offends anybody, I'm actually secretly a little happy about that because I want to provoke you and I want to get you guys thinking and talking. But I definitely want us all to be respectful. So with that, the first question here was, what are the biggest transportation problems in the neighborhood? And I've read some of these things up here. I see some patterns. But I'm curious if anybody would like to speak up and say, just for the whole group, what they think the biggest transportation problem is, or problems are. Who's excited to see that? Yes, please.
Local people who don't have cars can't get hardly anywhere.
Okay. So access
in
in
terms
and
of
out.
bus, there's two buses, 603 and 96. I think the 603 is once an hour.
No, the 603 is more frequent.
More
I
frequent.
take it.
Not on the weekend though.
Oh,
Yes, it
Yeah.
is more
And
frequent.
then the 96 doesn't get you to a market, doesn't get you to probably a doctor's appointment,
No.
doesn't do you anything about being mobile in the neighborhood.
and that's
All
the
the way to
one.
Figueroa, Glendale, and Hyperion.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay, so access to basic services by bus is inadequate. And as we have an aging community,
Right.
it becomes even more serious an issue. Yeah, do I saw a hand over here? Yes.
Yeah, I actually take the bus, and I brought this up another evening, that, let's say that you're traveling on a Sunday, and you get the 96, if there's a broken down bus, they don't send another one, so you are gonna wait at a bus stop for 2 hours. I've had to have called my brother that lives in Ontario to come and get me and take me home.
And he's faster.
Because I
than
didn't
everyone
have,
else.
I didn't have any money to take a taxi. And I just think that something should be, you know, a dash or a bus should be going from the Gold Line, Lincoln Cypress, to maybe CVS or the banks right there, the Citibank and the Bank of America.
Okay.
I think that would be a great route.
Okay.
Because then they could stop off at Ralph's, CVS, you know, Starbucks, wherever.
Thank you. Okay, so basically, some sort of a circulator that would connect this neighborhood to the Gold Line on one side, to the basic services of the market, and the banks on the other side.
Right.
Yes.
Literally, just go over the bridge, there's nothing,
Yeah,
for close to 25 years.
yeah,
Over the bridge connections.
yeah.
Okay. Yes.
It's long.
In order to actually have something happen, the question would be, how do we compare as a community for transport compared to other communities? I mean, lots of places you can't get a bus to go one place or another. The real question is, can we tell the city we are underserved? Are our needs unique? What is our leverage to say that we need this? Of course, everybody needs better public transportation in the city of Los Angeles. It's woefully inadequate, but it's woefully inadequate all over the place.
Right, okay, so this is one of those times when I break the role of the traditional facilitator and offer an opinion. And I would say that given the level of population here, and I understand, Maria, you said it was about 8,000 people in Blocktown, you're probably served about normally for a community of 8,000 people. You know, you compare this though to somebody living, say, along Figueroa, which is a much more heavily populated area. They have much better connections all over the place.
They have the 81 all night.
Right.
They have that 81 all night.
Right, right. So
So what's our argument?
well, I don't know if we have one yet, but I think your question, you're skipping ahead, which is an important thing. You're asking an important question, which is, okay, whatever we want, how do we get it, and what's our position to even ask for it? I still want to talk more about what we want, even though that is an important question, to stay realistic. Yes, please.
I just wanted to note, because of the bridge construction, that may affect the bus going across the bridge and going to Figueroa Market. I believe when I was growing up in the neighborhood, there was a bus that went to.
65.
It was a 65, we took it off almost
So-
25 years
Yeah,
ago.
so during the construction, I imagine, postpone the route.
Yes.
You know, one of the frustrations that we have had as a neighborhood, yes to all of the things that David mentioned, we are underserved, we are unique, and we keep getting one excuse after another as to why we can't get the necessary transportation that one has. Every day, I thank somebody in the neighborhood for giving my mom a ride as she's walking her groceries from the local store, because there is no services to begin with in the community. And then to get out for transportation, one of the most frustrating things for me as a longtime resident has been to actually see the dash come across our Riverside Drive with a no service sign.
It's a terrible tease.
Yes.
Because it's going to pick up, Lincoln Heights is going over to pick up and serve Cypress Park. But for some strange reason, the geniuses that we have can't figure out that it would make sense to just have them the route. And petition after petition after petition that dates back many years, echoing the need for that type of transportation. I would argue that even at a cost, we would welcome some transportation where we have none presently, to wait for the 96 to to swing by, for you to have to go to Cypress Park, go to the local grocery store, to have to go to Chinatown or downtown to catch a bus, catch the 81 to take you to Figueroa.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's insane. And that's the frustration that I see.
Okay, I appreciate that.
May I say something? In the old days, we did have one that went through Riverside Drive, and it used to go over the bridge and drop you where you could get more buses and streetcars, at that time was streetcars.
Yes,
And they used to pick them up on San Fernando, on Figueroa,
yes.
and, San Fernando Road. It would stop there, and they would come over here all the way down Riverside Drive, this way, and if you wanted to go to Glendale, or get the red car, or you know, there was no way, you can always get out of here. was
It
very
went to
simple.
Rowena.
It was very simple, and that's all you need, is just a small bus line that it had here, that's all it had.
A quick question for you guys. I wanna ask other questions also, but sticking on the dash idea for 1 second. Does everybody agree that something that went, as you suggested, between, say, the shopping center with the CVS and the Ralph's on one end and the Gold Line on the other end, is that sort of a fantasy route? That,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
okay, and where would you have stops? Would it be 1 stop, 2 stops, 3 stops?
6.
It's better any stop than what we have now. We don't have any stops.
You used to stop every 4 blocks,
Yeah,
I mean, that's what it did.
with benches and, you
Are
know,
those
Yeah.
sitting
stops
over
on
like
that
they do
map?
have in other neighborhoods.
I mean, you used to go down Riverside Drive, and you used to drop, if you wanna get off on,
Yeah, three or
wherever you
four
wanna get
stops
off.
on Riverside Drive would,
Would be a game changer.
absolutely.
Okay, yes.
The time you were talking about, the freeway wasn't here,
No,
Yeah.
so then the isolation of the northern end.
but Riverside Drive is still here, and they made Riverside Drive out.
Getting to Riverside Drive, you have a long walk depending on where you are in that northern area.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm saying, Riverside Drive is still the same. It's
Yeah,
still on
okay.
Riverside Drive, the bus would.
Okay, so I think we got good information on this, so thank you. What I got from this is basically access to basic services by public transportation is crucially important. A fantasy solution for that would be some dash bus that connects on one end over here at the market and drugstore, and one end over here at the Gold Line, and has 3 or 4 stops in between.
May I add something?
I would like you to, yes.
One way to increase public transportation is to use public transportation. I find it disingenuous when people clamor for public transportation, but they use their car all the time.
Yeah. Right, that's a great one.
And if we demand Dash, it will compete with Metro. So Metro will reduce the service because Dash is taking away so-called clients. So you'll be competing one against the other.
That may or may not be the case, again, speaking in a way, but the first thing you said is absolutely true. People need to use it in order for it to be
I
valuable.
have a senior pass. If I use Dash, I have to pay out of my pocket. Okay,
Right.
so that would increase some expenses for some people that
Sure.
already use Metro.
Right. Okay, thank you. I saw another comment over here.
Right
Yes,
here.
please.
While we're on the subject of alternative transportation, also cyclists, we have a great path that goes along the river, but it seems to be treated more as recreation, because if you try to actually use it to connect to anything, like if you have to go to work, or if you have to go shopping, or, you know, anything, now you're putting your life at risk. I've actually have been almost hit going down Fletcher, trying to connect to what is it, Glendale.
Silver Lake Boulevard or something.
Glendale, and I've also been hit on what is it, Silver Lake too, yeah. So,
I
yeah, that
ride
happens a
all
lot.
the time, and I get to see,
Yeah.
Fletcher is the only place that I won't ride on the street because it terrifies me.
Right.
In the back, please.
Yeah, I recently lost my car, so I've been busing it, and I take the 603, and then I try to get the 96 to get home towards Figueroa, and I can be stuck